Winning an MVP award might be one of the best ways of achieving self-fulfillment as a player. Winning a ring is great, but individual recognition is always better. Kawhi Leonard has the luxury of picking between the two, but if there's higher praise than an MVP award, it's being considered a favorite of someone who's one of the greatest players ever in NBA history. Let's take a closer look at Dr. J's praise for Leonard. First up, Dr. J names Kawhi Leonard as his absolutely favorite player. As we mentioned before, getting an MVP award can be pretty great for your self-esteem, but if you get the praise and recognition from your peers, it makes you feel like you're on top of the world. But how would it feel if you get the praise of the highest order from someone as good as Julius Erving? We don't know. Ask Kawhi Leonard. He's won everything a player can win in the NBA, and now Dr. J is saying that his favorite NBA player is Kawhi. Oh, and he added an absolutely to ensure there was enough emphasis there. And it's not the first time Erving has praised the 2014 Finals MVP winner. Previously, the legend explained that he loved the way Leonard played, and that he had his eye on the Clippers guard during his San Antonio Spurs days too. But is it really that surprising? We don't think so. Kawhi deserves all the praise he gets, and fans seem to have forgotten just how good a player he's been throughout his career. Don't let the injuries fool you. He'll be back with a bang this season. Dr. J is one of many people who can't wait to see Kawhi back in action this season. The whole league has missed the Claw, and we feel that the Clippers genuinely stand a chance of challenging for the championship if Leonard can stay fit. Who knows? He might even force himself in the GOAT conversations for Dr. J because he's got the tools, just not had the luck. Next, Erving sees shades of Tim Duncan in Leonard. He didn't say this, let us be perfectly clear, but we dug out the old interviews from the 72-year-old because everyone knows that Kawhi and Tim had way too many similarities, and it's not surprising that both of them are players that Erving has publicly claimed to like. The main similarity between the two players is their remarkable work ethic and fantastic demeanor, which Dr. J seems to absolutely adore. The Basketball Hall of Famer said a few years ago that Tim Duncan is an all-time top 10 player, and that again is the praise of the highest order. In fact, he said that Duncan would make the top 5, top 10, top 15, whatever, he makes the team. We don't disagree with Erving's point of view. In fact, we agree that Duncan is one of the greatest players to play the sport. That's why we think that when Leonard is compared to Duncan, it only adds to Leonard's legacy. Despite Dr. J's massive praise, he's still not had a private sit-down with his favorite player, and we're sure it will happen sooner or later. Imagine being so good that a Hall of Famer is a fan. Nah, we're still over it. Kawhi's so disrespected and does not get the respect he deserves. On to Kawhi's return. Enough about Julius Erving going full fangirl over Kawhi Leonard. It's time to talk serious business now. Leonard's stellar play on both ends of the court during the 2020-21 season for the Clippers meant that he took his side to the playoffs, and then his form went into monster gear as he inspired two brilliant comebacks against the Dallas Mavericks in the first round and then against Utah Jazz in the Western Conference semifinals. However, he suffered a serious injury and his season was cut short. Fans wonder to this day how that season would have turned out if Leonard hadn't gotten injured. His ACL injury was a nightmare, and he had to miss the NBA action for the entirety of last season. But the good news for the Clippers fans and the NBA in general is that Kawhi is back and he'll be looking to make up for lost time. He's been dominating and playing at such a high level for such a long time that people at times forget that he's still only 31. The Claw can easily take his recovery road slowly and return to full-time action by the business end of the season. His fantastic perimeter defending was something that the Clippers missed dearly throughout the last season, and Paul George would be one relieved man to have his star return to action. The Clippers can genuinely go all the way, and if they do, Kawhi will have a lot to say throughout their run. Can Leonard add to his legacy and help the LA Clippers win their first ever championship? He's already helped the Clippers gain the edge over their bitter rivals, the Lakers, but a ring would cement his legacy as an all-time superstar if he wasn't one already. And from the man himself, physically, I feel good. Before we end this part of the video, let's take a look at an update on Kawhi's return from Kawhi himself. Leonard's known for not saying much, but we're glad he finally broke the silence regarding his fitness because we're dying to know when we can see him in action. Again, we had to settle for a visual clip from Leonard putting in the work in the gym, but it's positive because he can be heard saying, "Physically, I feel good." That's as good as it gets from someone like Leonard, so we're not complaining. In fact, we're speculating, but the NBA's decision to schedule the Lakers-Clippers game early on in the season might suggest that they think Kawhi and Anthony Davis will be fit for the match, as they certainly wouldn't want another LA derby without star players around. Now, in other news, starting with Stephen A. Smith claiming that the Clippers are mopping the streets with the Lakers. Stephen A. Smith is known for his sensational takes, and he just adds so much drama and entertainment to the sport that we love his outrageous opinions. Now, this one might not be outrageous, sorry Lakers fans, but it's the truth now. Smith says that the Clippers, as of late, have been so dominant in the head-to-head games between the LA franchises that they're mopping the streets with the Lakers. And while he could have worded it a bit kindly, where would be the fun in that? Smith went on to humiliate the Lakers further by saying that there's no rivalry between the two franchises, and in the last 10 years, the Clippers have easily been the better side. The stats back Smith's words, records as they've won 32 out of the 39 games against the Lakers, and if that's not mopping the streets, then we're not sure what is. In fact, the Clippers are currently on a 7-match winning streak against the Lakers, and that seems to suggest that the Lakers have quite a tough start to their campaign, with Warriors and Clippers looming. Ty Lue in particular enjoys a fantastic record against the Lakers and hasn't lost a single game against them since he took over the coaching duties. Next up, Derek Fisher's unique comparison. Derek Fisher, a Lakers legend and champion, is making the headlines for a unique comparison that he made between the Clippers duo of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George with the Celtics duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Fisher said that the Clippers duo is the grown man version of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and he's not entirely wrong, is he? Talking to the 9th annual Cedric the Entertainer Celebrity Golf Classic, Fisher explained that the Clippers had done a fantastic job of adding depth to their roster and loved what the franchise had done by building a proper team around Leonard and George. Fisher was also full of praise for Reggie Jackson's development, along with the grit that the Clippers have added to their team over the last decade. But his unique comparison of the Clippers pair with the Celtics duo is being analyzed by people, and they think he might be right. Of course, the Celtics fans would welcome such comparisons and would hope the likes of Tatum and Brown can replicate George and Leonard, but for that to happen, they'll need to keep Brown with the franchise and hope that the front office does not end up trading him. Lastly, Clippers release preseason schedule. Clippers fans will be following this preseason schedule religiously because it'll be the first time they see Kawhi back in action after a long time. As for the schedule, you can catch the Clippers in action against Maccabi Ra'anana on the 30th of September in Seattle before they take on the Portland Trail Blazers. Then the team will return home to complete their preseason and will be facing the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Crypto.com Arena on the 9th of October before heading to California on the 12th of October to take on the Denver Nuggets. That's a wrap for this video. Dr. J's favorite player might be Kawhi Leonard, but who is your favorite player in the NBA? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give your video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.